Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host Myron. Today we've got NULU experimental finish. It has been sitting in a peach brandy barrel for 3 months. Is it dangerous?
Bottom drop, bottom drop, bottom drop.
Look, I know what you're thinking. Peach brandy finished. Yes, peach brandy finished. Took me by surprise. Took me by a pleasant surprise. Let me read to you what it says on the back of the bottle. Barrels of straight bourbon whiskey are put into various wine, brandy, and cognac barrels for months at a time. We taste them diligently to ensure the finish is heavily present throughout the nose, palate, and finish. Distilled by MGP of Indiana. So they're transparent. They tell you where they get their bourbon. So they source it from MGP or Ross and Squibb, whoever you want to call them, whatever moniker they're using these days. I love their juice, so it doesn't matter to me. But they tell you that they get it from MGP. The only thing that they don't tell you, and it's nowhere on the front of the bottle, is how long the whiskey in the bottle is before they put it in that secondary barreling, which is the peach brandy finish. Now, this one right here says it. It says 6 years. It gives you the proof, 106.6. This happens to be a Seven Summers single barrel store pick. But this right here, shout out to my man CA again, this right here is a Specs Selection barrel pick. I'm gonna get into it, but there were some things about this thing that make it dangerous. Let's pour some up. I'm not a big Finnish whiskey fan. I do like some of the ports. I love John J. Bowman port finish. I was, and this might be controversial, but I was a big fan of the Legion, the sherry finish. So things like that, I did like. But if it's something that's flavored, bourbons that are flavored, they don't sit well with me. And I had a friend recommend Wild Turkey Honey. I'm a fan of Wild Turkey. Why not give it a try? Just didn't like it. A lot of that stuff to me tastes like cough syrup. Let's get into the nose of this thing so we can break it down. Right off the bat, man. This right here smells like candy. And do not take that in a bad way. I love my classic bourbon flavors. I love my classic bourbon vanilla caramel nose. But this thing right here smells like candy. It has a very sugary sweet nose that you can definitely tell that it's been aged in a peach brandy barrel because the peaches really shine through. You get a slight hint, and I picked this up last night when I, just sipped it to get some airtime in the bottle. You get a slight hint of alcohol. It does not punch you in the face, but you can tell it's there. It's just a little bit. The peach on the nose is pretty much the primary nosing note that you're going to get out of this thing. You don't really pull any other notes out of here nose-wise. Now, after I get into the palate, sometimes I can pull different things out, but if it's anything like the other night, I probably won't be able to pull anything out. Let's go to the palate. Wow. It's such a different experience, man. The peach in this thing, it's all over the tongue. It hits from the front to the back and then on the mid. Right as it gets to the mid, there's a little bit of pepper. You taste some of those classic bourbon notes, but they're like really well hidden underneath of that peach flavor. That peach flavor is the dominant flavor on the palate and the nose. Let's go back into it. I might be aging myself, But if you've ever been to a corner store, or maybe even just a 7-Eleven, and you saw those orange creamsicles, they've got like this orange coating on the outside, vanilla ice cream or vanilla sherbet on the inside. You dip that again in peach, and that's what this tastes like. This thing is ridiculous. It is dangerous. That's why I said it's dangerous. It is dangerous because being 118 proof, it does not drink like 118. It goes down so sweet like candy. I'm telling you, man, if you have a chance to get a bottle of this, now, granted, this may be different. It is a spec selection, so it could be just a touch different. But if all of them are like this, I think you will be pleasantly surprised by a peach finished bourbon. Let's go back into the nose and see if we can get more notes to come through. Yeah, peach is still the dominant nosing note, but I'm starting to pick up some of those orange notes that I was telling you about and some of those classic vanilla bourbon notes that I was telling you about. There's a little bit, the alcohol smell kind of goes away. That alcohol note that I smelled in the beginning, it does kind of go away. I do get a slight bit of pepper on it. I get a lot of pepper and a lot of apple, so you'll hear that in a lot of my videos. But this thing is hitting me now with a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of pepper, some of that orange creamsicle, and definitely a lot of peach. It's a beautiful nose. It just smells like candy. It smells like candy. Let's go back into the palate. That's just candy sweet. It's candy sweet without being overly sweet. Let's get into the breakdown. Is it worth the chase? I think the NULU Peach Brandy Cask Finish is worth the chase. If you are into finished bourbons, you will definitely want to chase this thing. If you like the typical vanilla, brown sugar caramel notes that I like, you may not want to chase it, but I still say give it a try. This thing is a totally different animal. It is a totally different experience in the mouth, on the palate, in the nose, everything. I say give it a try. Is it worth the chase? 100% yes. Is it worth over retail? I don't really know the retail value this bottle was gifted to me. I see most NULU products for about $89.99. I'm expecting it to be $89.99. I'm guessing that it is $89.99. However, I don't know. I would pay the $90 for this all day long. It is that good. I would even go to my $30 max. So is this over retail? Yes. Up to my $30 max, and that's pretty much it. Would I give it to a new bourbon drinker? All day long. I would give this to a new bourbon drinker without hesitation. Yes, it is 118 proof, but it does not drink like it is 118 proof. This thing goes down so smooth. It is candy sweet without being overly sweet. And I know I keep saying that, but I'm telling you, a new bourbon drinker would love this. Most new bourbon drinkers come off of things like cocktails like Jack and Coke, or some type of rum and Coke, or maybe just a flavored whiskey. So I think a new bourbon drinker would love to have something like this to bring them into the bourbon world without causing too many issues to the palate, because it is 118, but like I said, it does not drink hot. Would I like to keep a bottle of this on the bar? This thing, as long as I am here, will not disappear unless I find another one. It is that good. This is another bottle that I will sit back and babysit. I will give this to friends who come over, or maybe new bourbon drinkers who come over and they want to try something different. It is that good that I am willing to babysit this bottle. I will probably always have this bottle on the bar. Once it gets below half, if it starts to taste weird, then maybe I'll start to drink it to get rid of it. But this thing, in my opinion, will always stay on the bar. With that being said, let the whiskey flow. Never run out unless you're headed to a drop. Till next time.